Have you ever paused to really think about the people you allow into your life? Not just your friends, but the ones you spend the most time with, the ones whose words and actions seep into your mind like water into soil. Because here's the truth, some people are like poison in disguise. They look harmless, maybe even charming, but their presence slowly drains your energy, your confidence, and your clarity. The first warning sign is constant criticism disguised as advice. This is not feedback meant to help you grow. It's a subtle way to make you doubt yourself. They'll tell you things like, "Are you sure you can handle that?" Or, "I don't know if that's the best idea." At first, it feels like guidance, but deep down, it's planting seeds of self-doubt. And over time, those seeds grow into barriers that stop you from reaching your potential. The second sign is inconsistency. These are people who say one thing and do another, who promise support but vanish when you need them most. Trust is fragile, and every time someone betrays it, even in small ways, it chips away at your sense of safety. You deserve people whose actions match their words because that alignment is the foundation of healthy relationships. The third warning sign is manipulation through guilt. Some people will twist situations so that you feel responsible for their feelings or failures. They might say, "After all I've done for you," or make you feel like walking away makes you selfish. Life is too short to carry the weight of someone else's emotional blackmail. True allies celebrate your wins without strings attached. The fourth sign is envy and competition. If someone can't celebrate your achievements without showing resentment or trying to one-up you, it's a red flag. Positive relationships inspire growth, but toxic ones measure your success as a threat to their own. When you surround yourself with people who cheer for your victories, you lift each other higher. When you stay with those who envy, you are dragged down instead. The fifth warning sign is a lack of accountability. People who never admit mistakes or always blame others create chaos around them. They never reflect, never grow, and worst of all, they expect you to clean up their messes. Life is already challenging enough. You don't need partners in negativity who make it harder than it needs to be. Recognizing these signs isn't about judgment. It's about survival and growth. Your energy is your most valuable resource. Protect it. Surround yourself with people who lift, encourage, and challenge you in ways that help you become the best version of yourself. Books like The 7 Habits of Highly Effective People remind us that who you spend your time with shapes who you become. Every relationship is either a stepping stone or a stumbling block. So take a moment to look around at your inner circle. Ask yourself, are these the people who make me stronger, or are they quietly holding me back? Stay vigilant, stay intentional, and remember, walking away from the wrong people is not cruelty, it's courage. It's the kind of courage that clears the path for your success, your peace, and your happiness. Because at the end of the day, the right people will recognize your worth, respect your boundaries, and celebrate your victories. And the wrong ones, let them go. Your life is too precious to let anyone dim your light. You ever noticed how some people seem to give advice, but it never feels quite right? They frame it as concern, as guidance, as though they're helping you make better decisions, but there's a subtle edge to it, a hidden undertone that chips away at your confidence. This is the first warning sign: constant criticism disguised as advice. At first, it might be small things, a comment about how you dress, a question about your choices, a suggestion that you might not be ready for an opportunity you're excited about. You shrug it off, thinking they just care, that maybe they're right, but then it keeps happening. Every interaction becomes a gentle erosion of your self-belief. Over time, the doubts they plant grow roots in your mind, making you question your own instincts and your ability to trust yourself. People who do this aren't always obvious villains. They smile, they nod, they appear supportive. That's what makes it dangerous. They're stealthy. They make you second guess your dreams, your decisions, your worth. And the worst part is, it can feel like it's coming from someone you love, someone close, someone whose opinion matters. You start noticing patterns. Whenever you share a goal, a plan, or even a simple idea, they find a way to undercut it. Not with open hostility, but with friendly skepticism. Are you sure about that? Maybe that's too ambitious for you. I don't know if you can handle it. And slowly, almost imperceptibly, your confidence wavers. You begin to play it safe, to shrink your ambitions, to doubt yourself in moments when you should be bold. The truth is, real guidance uplifts. True advice encourages growth, even if it's uncomfortable. But when criticism is disguised as counsel, it's never about your growth. It's about control. It's about keeping you small, keeping you dependent, keeping you uncertain. The moment you recognize this pattern, you gain power. You see it for what it is. And then you have a choice. Allow it to dictate your life or protect your mind, your confidence, and your dreams by putting distance between yourself and that subtle, corrosive negativity. Your dreams deserve people who believe in you without reservation. Your growth deserves encouragement, not constant doubt. And your life deserves freedom from those whose words are knives hidden in velvet. The second warning sign is inconsistency, and it's one of the quietest yet most destructive traps you can fall into. Think about it. How often do we measure people by what they say instead of what they do? But the truth is, words are cheap. Actions reveal character. People who are inconsistent tell you one thing and do another. They promise support and then vanish when you need them most. They show up for moments that benefit them and disappear for the ones that matter to you. At first, it might seem like simple forgetfulness or a busy schedule. You give them the benefit of the doubt. But patterns emerge. Over time, the letdowns start to accumulate, and the subtle disappointment turns into frustration, then resentment. You begin to realize that you cannot rely on their words because they do not match their actions. Trust, once shaken, is incredibly difficult to rebuild. Inconsistency also creates a constant state of uncertainty. You never know what to expect, which forces you to walk on eggshells around them. One day they're supportive, the next day critical. One moment they encourage you, the next they withdraw or contradict themselves. This unpredictability is exhausting. It drains your energy because your focus shifts from pursuing your goals to managing their moods and whims. The key lesson here is that true relationships, whether in friendship, family, or business, are grounded in reliability. When someone's actions align with their words consistently, they build safety and trust. But when inconsistency dominates, it undermines your confidence in your own judgment. You start questioning your perceptions, wondering if you're imagining things or if you're overreacting. Recognizing this pattern is essential. You deserve people whose promises are kept, whose presence is dependable, whose actions reflect their words. Surrounding yourself with inconsistent individuals is like building a house on shifting sand. No matter how strong your foundation is, the structure wobbles. Your peace, your focus, and your progress depend on clarity. When you spot inconsistency, it's a signal to step back, to reassess, and to prioritize relationships that are steadfast and trustworthy. Life is too short to waste energy on people who cannot be counted on when it matters most. The consistent, dependable presence of genuine allies, on the other hand, empowers you to move forward confidently, knowing that you are supported in both words and actions. The third warning sign is manipulation through guilt, and it's one of the most insidious forms of control because it doesn't announce itself with loud words or aggression. Instead, it whispers, it nudges, it makes you feel responsible for someone else's feelings or failures. Have you ever noticed people who say things like, "After all I've done for you," or "If you really cared, you would"? That is guilt manipulation in action. It's subtle, it's quiet, but it works to bend your will and influence your decisions without you even realizing it. At first, it might seem like they're expressing disappointment or concern. You think, maybe I should feel bad. Maybe I did something wrong, and that's exactly the trap. Guilt manipulators rely on your empathy, your kindness, your desire to be fair. They turn your good intentions against you, making you question your choices and sometimes even your character. Over time, this constant self-doubt begins to feel normal, and you start measuring your every action against the emotional reactions of someone else. What makes this dangerous is that it's rarely overt. It's not screaming or shouting. It's the quiet, lingering pressure that makes you feel obligated, even when you know deep down that you shouldn't. They make you feel like walking away, setting boundaries, or saying no is selfish. They make you feel like every choice you make is a moral test, and failing it means you're a bad person. And slowly, almost imperceptibly, they steal your freedom. Real relationships, the ones that elevate you, do not operate through guilt. People who truly care about you support your growth without strings attached. They celebrate your victories, respect your decisions, and take responsibility for their own emotions. Guilt manipulators, on the other hand, thrive on control. They want to dictate how you feel, what you do, and sometimes even who you become. Recognizing this pattern is crucial. You don't need to justify your boundaries to anyone. You don't need to carry the emotional burdens of those who attempt to control you through guilt. The moment you see it clearly, you gain power. You realize that saying no doesn't make you unkind, walking away doesn't make you cruel, and protecting your own peace is not selfish. It's necessary. Your life is too valuable to be steered by someone else's emotional manipulation. Protect your heart, protect your choices, and remember that true respect in any relationship comes from mutual understanding, not from the silent, suffocating weight of guilt. When you distance yourself from those who manipulate through guilt, you reclaim your clarity, your confidence, and your freedom to pursue the life you were meant to live. The fourth warning sign is envy and competition, and it's one of the most corrosive forces you can allow into your life because it hides behind smiles and applause. At first, it might seem harmless. Someone congratulates you but with a subtle twist in their tone, or they quickly follow your success with a story of their own accomplishments. If you pay attention, you'll notice a pattern. Instead of celebrating your wins, they measure them against their own, as if your progress somehow diminishes their worth. Envy doesn't always announce itself loudly. Often it's quiet, almost invisible, but its effects are destructive. Being around people who envy you constantly puts you on edge. You hesitate to share your victories, afraid of judgment or resentment. You start minimizing your achievements, not because you should, but because you've learned that showing growth invites criticism or subtle sabotage. Over time, this stifles your potential. You stop reaching for the heights you once dreamed of because the people around you cannot celebrate your rise without feeling threatened. Competition in this toxic form is different from healthy challenge. True challenge inspires you, pushes you to be better, and fuels mutual growth. But when someone competes with you out of jealousy, it's about control, not collaboration. They want to prove they are better, smarter, or more capable, and your success becomes a target rather than a reason to rejoice. This creates tension, drains you, our energy, and diverts your focus from your own path to their insecurities. The lesson here is simple. Your energy is too precious to be spent defending your accomplishments or shrinking yourself to make others comfortable. Surround yourself with people who genuinely cheer for your victories, who lift you when you soar, and who are inspired rather than threatened by your progress. These are the allies who make you stronger, who fuel your momentum, and who reflect the truth that your success does not take away from theirs. It adds to the collective strength of everyone around you. Recognizing envy and unhealthy competition early is crucial. Life is full of opportunities, but not all people are meant to travel with you. By distancing yourself from those whose eyes are clouded with jealousy, you free yourself to grow without restraint. Your ambitions deserve supporters, not rivals in disguise. And when you choose relationships that celebrate your wins, your confidence grows, your focus sharpens, and your journey becomes lighter, brighter, and filled with possibility. The fifth warning sign is a lack of accountability, and it's one of the clearest indicators that someone may be toxic for your life and your growth. Think about it. How often do you encounter people who never admit mistakes, who always shift blame, who never take responsibility for their actions? At first, it might seem like a minor frustration, a quirk, or an occasional slip, but over time, this pattern reveals a deeper truth. They are unwilling to own their behavior, and they expect everyone else to manage the consequences. People who refuse accountability create chaos around them. They never reflect, they never learn, and worst of all, they drag others into their mess. You find yourself cleaning up problems that aren't yours, covering for mistakes, or absorbing the fallout from their poor decisions. It's exhausting, and it slowly erodes your confidence and your peace of mind. Instead of focusing on your own goals, you're constantly putting out fires that should never have been yours to handle. The danger is subtle, but it's powerful. When someone never accepts responsibility, it teaches you to lower your expectations. You start expecting less from them, questioning your judgment, and sometimes even doubting your own decisions. They make excuses, rationalize failure, and justify harmful behavior, all while expecting you to remain patient, loyal, and accommodating. Over time, this imbalance becomes toxic, a silent drain on your emotional and mental energy. True growth and healthy relationships are built on honesty and responsibility. People who take ownership of their actions, admit mistakes, and learn from them bring stability and trust into your life. They allow you to rely on them, to plan alongside them, and to grow together. Those who consistently avoid accountability, on the other hand, create uncertainty, frustration, and unnecessary stress. Recognizing this pattern is essential for your peace and progress. You don't need to accept the burden of someone else's irresponsibility. Walking away from those who refuse to take responsibility is not abandonment, it's self-preservation. Your energy, your time, and your focus are too valuable to be spent managing the fallout of someone else's choices. Surround yourself with people who are reliable, honest, and accountable. When you do, you create an environment where growth, trust, and true collaboration can thrive, and you reclaim the freedom to pursue your life without unnecessary weight or distraction. The sixth key warning sign is how someone treats others when they think no one is watching. This is a test that most people fail to notice, but it reveals more about a person's true character than anything they say or do in front of you. People can be charming, polite, even generous when they want approval or recognition, but their real nature shows in the quiet moments, the way they speak about others behind their backs, the subtle dismissals, the lack of empathy for those they consider less important. At first you might dismiss it. Maybe they were having a bad day, you tell yourself. But repeated patterns are revealing. Someone who shows cruelty, indifference, or disrespect when no one else is around is demonstrating that their kindness is conditional, that their morality is performative, and that they lack genuine integrity. These are not small flaws, they are fundamental indicators of how they will treat you when it's inconvenient for them, when mistakes are made, or when there is no one else to witness their behavior. The danger is that these people can subtly drag you into their worldview, normalize harmful behaviors, or make you feel like you have to compromise your own values to keep their approval. Over time, this influence corrodes your standards, your confidence, and even your ability to trust your own judgment. You start questioning, am I overreacting? Maybe this is normal, but it isn't normal. It's a clear signal that this person's heart and intentions may not align with your well-being. Healthy relationships are built on consistency and integrity, not conditional behavior. People of strong character treat everyone with respect, regardless of status, visibility, or gain. They lift others quietly, without expecting recognition, and they never compromise their principles for convenience or self-interest. These are the people whose presence elevates you and teaches by example. Recognizing this pattern requires attentiveness and honesty. Watch not just how people behave toward you, but toward waitstaff, strangers, colleagues, or even pets. Those small interactions are WI. Endows into their true nature. If you notice repeated disregard or cruelty, it's a sign to protect your energy and distance yourself. Surrounding yourself with individuals who act with integrity even when unobserved ensures that your life is filled with authentic respect, trust, and harmony, rather than hidden toxicity disguised as charm. When you make this conscious choice, you not only protect yourself, you elevate your entire environment, because the people around you set the tone for your life, and integrity is contagious in ways that charm or flattery never can. Seventh warning sign is a blatant disregard for your boundaries, and it's one of the most telling indicators that someone may be toxic in your life. Boundaries are not just rules. They are a reflection of your self-respect, your priorities, and your values. When someone consistently ignores them, dismisses them, or pushes against them, it's a clear signal that they do not respect you or your space, and that they are more interested in controlling or taking advantage of you than in nurturing a healthy relationship. At first, it might seem small or even innocent. They interrupt you when you're busy, make decisions that affect you without consulting you, or brush off your needs as unimportant. You might excuse it, thinking they don't mean harm or that they just don't realize. But patterns are revealing. Over time, repeated boundary violations wear you down. They create tension, frustration, and a subtle erosion of your confidence. You begin to question whether your needs are valid or whether you are too sensitive simply because someone refuses to honor them. People who disrespect boundaries often manipulate situations to make you feel guilty for asserting yourself. They might say things like, "You're overreacting," or "Why are you making such a big deal out of this?" The truth is, boundaries are not optional. They are essential for protecting your emotional and mental energy. When someone continually pushes them aside, it's not a misunderstanding. It's a lack of respect. Healthy relationships thrive on mutual respect. People who truly care about you understand your limits, honor your space, and support your choices. They do not pressure you to compromise your values or sacrifice your well-being for their convenience. When boundaries are respected, trust grows, communication improves, and the relationship becomes a source of strength rather than stress. Recognizing this warning sign is a matter of attentiveness and courage. Notice who respects your time, your space, your emotional needs, and who constantly tests or ignores them. Standing firm in your boundaries is not arrogance, it is self-respect. Walking away from those who repeatedly disrespect them is not cruelty, it is protection of your peace, your focus, and your growth. By surrounding yourself with people who honor your limits, you create a life where your energy is preserved, your decisions are valued, and your personal power is intact. Boundaries are not walls, they are the framework that allows your life to flourish. And when the people around you respect them, they help you reach heights you never thought possible, free from the distraction and drain of those who refuse to honor your space. The eighth and final warning sign is the presence of negativity disguised as realism or truth-telling. Some people constantly focus on what could go wrong, pointing out problems, risks, or flaws in every idea you share. At first, you might think they're being practical, keeping you grounded. But there's a difference between constructive perspective and chronic pessimism. And over time, this negativity becomes a weight that slows your progress, clouds your vision, and diminishes your belief in yourself. Negativity can be subtle. It appears as friendly advice or honest feedback, but the effect is the same. It drains your energy. You start second-guessing yourself, shrinking your ambitions, and questioning whether your goals are realistic. Instead of seeing possibilities, your mind begins to focus on limitations. Your confidence falters, your motivation wanes, and slowly you begin to settle for less than you're capable of achieving. The danger is that this type of person rarely encourages action or growth. They dwell on what could fail, what might go wrong, and what others might think. And in doing so, they create an invisible barrier around you, convincing you that bold moves are dangerous, that risks are too high, and that comfort is safer than progress. Over time, this stifles creativity, initiative, and the courage to pursue your dreams. Healthy